Welcome back, my guys, for day 19 and 20. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to lie, you guys. The last few days have been really rough for me. They've been really, really rough for me. I've been struggling a lot lately. Just getting that urge is building up in me, getting super tempted. I'm just trying to stay locked in and focused. Just to let you guys kind of know, I I have been trying to do a few different things. I have every time I get tempted to look at certain things, I jump down and I do 5 sets of push-ups till failure. So 5 sets until I cannot go anymore, and that has really been working well for me. I'm redirecting that energy towards something else, and then by the end of that, I'm like, I don't even want to look at it anymore. It's lost its appeal. So just so you guys are aware that you will have moments like this, okay? You are going to have moments and you might even fail. I came very close to failing quite a few times. I once just said, whatever, you know what? F it. But I stayed true and I was like, nope, I got to keep going for you guys. I got to keep going for myself. And it's a lifelong battle. It's really a lifelong battle. Just like every other addiction, it's going to be a struggle throughout the entire time, especially because it's just everywhere. Everything's going to trigger you. You're going to get really, really overwhelmed. Let's just say overwhelmed, and you're going to have to try to figure out what causes you and what triggers you into feeling the need to look at those things. If you become so dialed in with everything else in your life, whether it's finances, work, relationships, if you have something along those lines to keep you focused on and locked in on those kinds of things, you're going to be so busy you won't even have time to even think about looking at anything like that. The biggest thing that I struggle with is boredom. If I if I get bored even slightly, I'm gonna be tempted big time. Boredom is probably my biggest thing. So, and obviously you can't stay, you know, busy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? I mean, you can try. Obviously, if you're gonna start a business or do something along those lines, like I've said before, you know, you're gonna be so busy growing something that you won't even have time to think about it. You're gonna be so exhausted by the end of the day. You're not even gonna think about doing anything like that. So for me, I just have to keep myself not bored. So some things that have been working for me: push-ups till I can't go anymore, walking for like at least a mile to 3 miles, and by the time I get home, I'm like, all right, this sucks. Depending on where you guys are, obviously that doesn't always make sense. If you're we're super cold right now during the winter time. I live in Minnesota, so right now we're having a huge heat wave, so it's pretty easy to do that still. But right typically right now it would be getting really cold right now, which again, not an excuse. You can still do it. You can throw on some boots, you can throw on some warm clothing, and you can go walk. But you just gotta stay away from triggers, right? Try not to let yourself get bored. Try not to let yourself get anxious. And obviously there will be some increased anxiety at first, but if you can plow through that anxiety and redirect it towards something else, as I've said countless times, you should be able to plow through it and kind of fight through it, I should say. So again, reading's been helping me, journaling's been helping me, but again, we're men, right? We're going to get urges. That's just the way it is. We're going to get urges in our body. Things are going to start to build up, obviously, but you just have to redirect it. Another thing that I've heard that really works for a lot of guys is meditation. If you can meditate and focus on your energy, your sexual energy, think of it like a ball of light inside of you, and you're breathing in and breathing out and focusing on your breathing, focusing on your breathing, focusing on that light. Think about that light inside of you, guys. And you want to keep that light. Every time you shoot, that light dies. and it takes a long time for that light to come back. I would say, 2 days, 3 days before that light comes back inside of you again. So every time you shoot, you're diminishing that light. Now, I would say when it's not a connection either, like you can still have, orgasms, but make sure it's not a wasted orgasm. Make sure it's with somebody. Um, but again, if you can make it the 90 days, that at least shows yourself that you can control your urges. I'm not saying you need to go forever, right? Don't retain forever. You don't need to retain forever unless you're like trying to become a genius, like Nikola Tesla, those inventors, you know. I've heard boxers and fighters do a lot of semen retention as well because they're focusing so heavily on the fight that they want to build up that testosterone inside of themselves. So you don't shoot until after their fight. So think of it like you got a fight coming up, so you got to keep it locked in. You got to keep it inside of you to build up that testosterone, build up that creativity in your brain. Put that focus towards something creative or even just training. Get yourself locked in the gym, and eventually, you can release. Okay, I'm not saying you have to do this forever. I'm just doing it for me to see if I can actually go a full 90 days. And I'm at 20, so, I got another 70 days to go. But I can do it. So, it's not unattainable. It's not unattainable. It is possible, okay? It's just, once you get to a certain point, it is going to become a struggle. It's going to become a huge struggle for you guys. Just, again, reach out to me if you need to. Comment below, what are you struggling with? I'm more than happy to help you. If you need some extra help, go on Google and look for the softwares. Covenant Eyes is a big one. That will block anything. You can actually pay extra, I think, to block specific websites if you need that. Otherwise, you can just have it so you have an accountability partner, and anything you look at, I believe I've talked about this in the past, but I just want to reiterate it again, that anything that you feel, if you feel like you need an accountability partner and actually have your phone monitored by somebody else, somebody you trust, a friend, family member, girlfriend, wife, or pastor, do that. I'm telling you right now, do that, because we can't do this by ourselves, guys. We can't do this by ourselves. So, I reach out to people as well, and I just have a conversation with them. That keeps me focused, dialed in, and locked in. And I just have a conversation, gets my mind off of it, and then once I talk it out, I'm good. I don't need it anymore. So that's been helping me as well. Just saying like, hey, I'm struggling right now. Okay, let's talk. That's really all it takes, guys. Just ask for help. Just ask for help. But of course, the first step to getting help for anything is admitting you have a problem. So ask yourself some questions. How long do you spend watching? How many times a day do you jerk it? What are you watching? What types of stuff are you watching? Ask yourself these questions. And, if the answer to any of those questions is more than an hour, especially at what times of the day are you watching too? Like, for me personally, just to open up to you guys, I used to watch it while I was driving. I'd be driving, I used to be a driver for a steel company. I'd watch for hours while I was driving because I'd have long trips. I'd watch while I was driving. What's the point, right? Can't release, just watching to watch, poisoning my brain. So, and then of course, if the answer to your question that you ask yourself, what kind of stuff are you watching, and you start to realize, actually say it out loud, you're like, holy shit, I'm into some weird fucking shit, then yeah, you might have a problem. And first stepping is admitting it. Admit that you have a problem, and then get some help. Reach out to me, a friend, family member, girlfriend, wife, pastor. Reach out to somebody. because they can help you. Mainly just talking it out. Figuring out what is the cause. What triggers you? You know, I'm not a therapist, by the way. I'm gonna give that a disclaimer. I am not a therapist by any means, but I am a good listener, and I have had some experience with it, so I can help as much as I can. But if you feel like you need more help, then go seek help. I would say seek help. And again, it doesn't have to be forever, but you should at least get off the corn forever. Okay, find, you know, if you really need to release, you know, find a partner to release with. Don't release until you find a partner. Okay, and if you really need some self relief, use your imagination. Okay, use your imagination or whatever. I know we're guys, we're visual, we need to see things, blah blah blah, fantasy, whatever, but it doesn't need to be that way. Okay, that's all in our head. That's what society's telling us. That's because, you know, right now the corn industry is $1 billion industry, guys, and they got to keep that money train rolling in. So, but we don't need to give our money to them, we don't need to give our time to them, and we don't need to give any other resources to them whatsoever. Stay dialed in, guys. Get locked in the gym, get locked in at work, start making some more money. You will then eventually become more attractive, and you can find a partner then. Okay, that's the biggest thing. Find a partner. Okay, but I'm gonna hop off, guys. I just want to give you an update on where I'm at. Okay, like, comment, subscribe, share this with anybody that's struggling, and feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to help you guys out. Okay, stay blessed.